And we're off to the races, as I normally say. Super excited because each week I try to bring you someone super with a super colorful past, or perhaps have a lot to talk about, as you know. And today I have one person who won't mince her words on my show. She's very dedicated to the arts and, helping folks with, as you know, mental health is a big deal these days. And so she has books, two books, and she's going to share about. One is a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So I'm really excited to have her on. She is known as, you might know her as the Asian Oprah, right? And we're going to hear about the backstory about this. I can hardly wait. She has probably well over 15 years as a talk host, talk show radio host. She's spoken to so many luminaries. I know amongst them Muhammad Ali's daughter. It's pretty amazing. I think her name is Layla Ali. So maybe she'll correct me on that. She's a fantastic human being. I've been on her show as well with my good friend and cousin. We happen to be related, Ricky Rebel. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Marissa Pig. Give me 1 second while we bring her on and let the good times roll. Hey there.
Where's my applause?
I just have so much. You're the kind of person that I have. There is so much to talk about in such a short period of time that I almost kind of want to chomping at the bit and kind of want to, peel out the layers right away, because you're a doctor. You've done a lot and you worked on so many networks, and here you are on this small little show, Almost Famous Radio Podcast with yours truly. And you got, you've been through it this week. I know my deepest and sincerest sorry and condolences to you. I know that we talked about right before the show started airing, that we, right off camera, that we were gonna really talk about the fact that our loved ones have crossed over, because your mom went to be with the Lord, and then my mom in November also parted ways with the earth, and now she's a spiritual being, so there's so much to cover in so little time. So let's just jump right into it. You have two books. I mean, the one, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. It's a #1 bestseller. You can pick it up on Amazon. Woo! A national bestseller.
And Walmart and Target and Barnes and Noble. Very grateful. Went #1 Amazon and a national bestseller as well. But the best part of it is a lot of people are being helped. I don't write it as a psychologist telling you how to be happy, but instead as one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, to, highlight the fact that pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. And yes, especially chapter 2 is exactly what I'm living right now. Yesterday, early morning, my mom passed. I didn't lose her. She's where my dad is, who went from lymphoma, and all the people that I love who are all together on the other side. I don't believe in hell. I believe in heaven. I believe in love. We all come from love. We go back into love. And that is what makes me feel good. She's not suffering anymore. She had Parkinson's for almost 20 years. And so, I talked to her on Friday and said, I love you, Mom. And she said, I love you too. Saturday, she stopped eating. And then the official hospice with all of the drugs and helping to take away the pain. And I still spoke to her on Tuesday morning, and the PSW held the phone by her ear, and I told her again, I love you, Mom. I know that you did the best that you could with the time that you had and the resources you had, and that you did the best that you could. I know you loved me. She was well-meaning, but sometimes more mean than well. But I recognized that, I got to spend 2 weeks with her last month.
That's right.
I completely, that little bit of how could you as a mom, I released that. And it was such a beautiful trip. And I got hugs and I got love from her in a way that I never gotten as a child, and it was
Wow.
beautiful. And so, I really didn't need to go back. I kind of wanted to hold her hand when she crossed the bridge because I did that for my bonus mom 3 months ago.
That's right.
She was 92. My Chinese mom's 90. But it's interesting because I talked to the nurse and she said, 2 to 3 days, so if you want to come. And I said, well, I don't need to come. The only reason would be to hold her hand. So I went and looked at flights that night. That was Wednesday, and sorry. Yeah. Anyways, Tuesday or Wednesday, and and they're not. There's no such thing as a cheap last minute flight, and they don't offer them for hospice, just bereavement. So it was like a $1,200 ticket and non-refundable. And so I almost bought it, and a voice said, wait.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been able to hold her hand. She was already over the bridge. So that was just beautiful. And the outpouring of love and support and condolences, although I'm really not that sad. And I know that sounds weird, but I did a show this morning. We talked about the circle of life with your cousin, Ricky on Straight Talk. And
great show. Thank you for having me on the other day. Appreciate
of course. And I'm just really, above all, just really grateful that I got to have that closure with her. And I realized that the next book is going to be dealing with, because there's so many women who have very difficult relationships with their moms, more so than males. I will say that the studies are clear, because if it's not one thing, it's your mother. And there's only 2 times in your life you don't have mother issues: when you're born and when you die. And so a lot of people's happiness is really being impacted by their ability to come to peace with their mom. So I'm working on a screenplay right now called Life by a Thousand Cuts. And there's a part in there for Aquafina. And Marion Ross, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days, wants me to do acting. So I might just go and play myself. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm working on that screenplay now.
You ever been to her son's school? Her son, I think it's Jim. He has a school.
Yes, he's been on my show several times. And
I used to attend his class. I used to attend his classes.
Yes. You took classes there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right here in Sherman Oaks.
They no criticism. I love that. Fantastic. Yeah. Him and his wife were on my show. And
I think of his wife's name. Remind me, refresh her name. She's one of the instructors.
I have a really good memory, but my my recall sucks.
Yeah.
But it's on my YouTube TV channel. If you go, just put in Jim Meskimen. And Marion came on my show under her own steam when my studio was at Sunset Gower when she was 89 years old.
Oh my God.
She called me a wonderment. And then I had her back on. Jim brought her on through Zoom. And she was 96, 90. Yeah. And now she's with us physically
in the physical realm, right? She's still with us.
She's really still with us.
Remarkable.
But we did lose one of my past guests. I just saw another past guest post it. I don't know if you're too young to remember MASH.
Oh, she just passed away this morning, right? Or
Loretta
yesterday.
Yeah, she was on my show twice, and what a beautiful woman she is. So, and yes, you did pronounce Layla's name correctly, Muhammad Ali's daughter, who is a 4-time undefeated world champion herself. 4 belts. And she is
she's a badass
friend of mine. And so when I asked her to come back for the 3rd time to celebrate, I just celebrated 13 years, Jim.
I said 15, so I'm putting it out there.
Oh, yeah. 683 consecutive weeks, 1,401 podcast shows. And started May 1st, 2012. And apparently, women podcasters make up less than 23%,
Yes.
I think my co-host said. So we're a minority, but
You're
we're
a gem. You
strong in
really
mighty.
are a gem. Seriously. I'm super excited to know you and happy because I you exude so much confidence. I mean, really to know you is to really love you. You're fantastic. You exude wisdom. You have so
Thank
much to
you.
give. Every time you come on, I met you in person, we were with my lovely wife, and
Yes,
that's
she
what
was
she
very
said.
lovely.
Your whole thing is like it exudes this aura about you that it's
Thank you.
just grace and peace. So I know you're at peace right now,
Mhm.
and I know you're gonna be okay. And you can always talk to me. You ever need to talk to people, your friends. You have tons of friends, I know, but just because I went through the same thing you're going through 6 months ago, to almost to the day. So you were born in a small German town in Canada, correct?
Largest German population outside of Germany, in
Mm-hmm.
Canada, in
Wow,
Ontario, and the
beautiful.
city's name is Kitchener. And so
Okay.
it's a twin city with Waterloo. And the
Mm-hmm.
funny story is, my father got his PhD in chemical engineering from McGill University in Quebec
Oh
and
wow,
Montreal.
Montreal.
And he had two job offers to be a professor. One was at the University of Waterloo, largest chemical engineering school, and Berkeley in California. And
Yeah,
his TA was Professor Tien, who became the chancellor at Berkeley. And
no
so he
kidding.
offered my
Wow.
father a teaching position. My father, 1960, was
Wow.
very nerdy. I mean, to the day he died, very shy, very unlike me. And he turned the TV on,
Mhm.
and it was 1960. Burning bras, acid,
Kennedy, right? Kennedy and
protesting,
Nixon.
right? Right. And he's like super nerdy. And he took one look at that and said, "We're going to Waterloo." And that's how I was born in Ontario, Canada, instead of California, instead of
what
Berkeley.
what a great story
So
that
yeah,
is. Holy cow.
yeah.
So needless to say, very conservative folks living there,
Very.
and so did you grow up like sheltered? Were there, your folks early on,
Not
or
sheltered so much as tiger mom. Definitely, no 1 hour of TV a week, and no radio until I was
wow.
18, and then no movie until I was 21.
Are you
And
serious?
and all I was allowed to do is study.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, because one of the things about you that's really fascinating to me, and more than one layer, is the fact that you're super you're like a wordsmith, and you pride yourself
Mm,
in idioms and freaking semantics, everything, words. Just they
thank you.
just fall out of
I
your mouth so beautifully, and I noticed that in some of the
love to
show that.
play with words.
Yeah, and it's
Love it.
fantastic, and I can tell that you may have read quite a bit of books. growing
Well,
up.
yeah, you have to when you get a PhD, number one.
Nah, yeah,
But
for starters, yeah,
I love learning anything new. Like
yeah,
I love doing things
yeah.
for the first time. I love learning things for the first time, and it just delights me.
Hence
So
the
and
don't
playing
yeah,
with
go ahead.
words is even more fun. So that's why I asked you to call your BS
I love
your
it.
belief systems
Ah,
that are helping or hurting you
right.
in being happy 88% of the time.
Yeah,
So
like you say, your motto is "Don't die wondering."
that's
Correct.
right. That's one of them. The
That's
one
one
for
of
the
them.
past is no regrets, because
No,
there's no mistakes, there's missed takes, no mistakes.
nice. Right.
Yes.
Oh, I love that,
So, and you
Marissa.
learn from every take, right?
Okay.
And
Correct.
then that's the past. And for the future, it is don't die wondering, because I do
Okay.
everything once: marriage, divorce. Yeah, everything once.
Do you have? Do you? You're a mother yourself, right? Do you have two
Yes, I
children?
have two beautiful girls,
Okay.
27, 25, Chloe
Wow.
May, Sarah Wei. May is Chinese for beautiful, Wei is Chinese for peaceful, because when she was down there, she was doing gymnastics, the younger one, and pushing on my rib cage. And so my father, he was just alive. That was his
That's
last
funny.
year of life before he succumbed to lymphoma, but he
Right.
gave them their Chinese middle names. And that's why
Oh,
Sarah is Wei. Yeah,
wow.
and they're both in
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Nice. Very
The older
cool.
one went to Cornell, younger one went to UC Davis. They're both out. They
Yeah.
lived together for 1 year, almost killed each other. So they live in San Francisco separately and happily.
Ain't that the craziest story? That's funny. Yeah. So are they? I mean, needless to say, academia, was huge at home. So you bestowed upon this type of wisdom to your kids, hence why they went on to do pretty well. Are either one of them? Are either one of them decided to ever like dip their toes in the in the media or Hollywood, crazy biz or nothing related to our world?
No, no.
Okay.
And I'm kind of happy about that.
Me too.
They're embarrassed by me. So that's good. That keeps them, centered and balanced, and they're proud of me,
Yeah.
but not no, there's absolutely no desire. The older one got a degree in biological sciences, so she
Holy
works for
moly.
a cancer research company. And the little one is she took a double major in psych and Chinese.
Holy
And
cow.
so she's my travel buddy. We went to China last year, her first time, and I was speaking at 2 universities there. And yeah, she's lovely. And the older one's a lot like me, so we have a bit of a more challenging relationship because
Right. Because you both alike.
she's just like me, right?
Mhm.
And the little one is just a delight because it's easier.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Like sometimes it happens that when we're too much alike, like our kids, and especially we're kind of
Yeah,
strong. We have that strong will almost,
yeah.
and we don't bend so easily. We tend to lock heads, a little.
Are
Um,
you like that too
well, my
with your?
son, he can't be. My son's an Aries. I'm a Pisces, so I'm more like water. I chill. I'm
Oh,
more like ebb and flow. It's just kind of come along, and
yeah.
all right, we don't want confrontation.
Right,
But
right,
however, I think at times I could also be a little snarky with him, and then he'll do right back. But we
right.
generally speaking, we get along. It's almost like law school at home. You go to lawyers face off, but there's no bad blood. It's just how you get along.
Yeah, we're more like a football team, the two
Right,
of us. But we're both fire signs, and I'm a
right.
Leo in 5 planets.
Wow.
So I'm a challenge for anybody. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's all good.
Yeah, I embrace that because I embrace, I'm a chameleon. I kind of, depending on who I have on the show, I'm able to mold. I'm pretty malleable and tend to kind of blend in. And then I seem to always be pretty successful at that. I had a question for you.
No,
So, huh?
no, I just answered it.
Okay, okay. You can actually, you're a mind reader also, I forgot. And a stand-up comedian. Or let's not forget your sense of humor here. You're also a stand-up comedian because I've been like, what do you call it, nosing around and it's noticing that you've been up on stage, not only speaking to large crowds and being a keynote speaker. In addition to that, wait a minute, she's doing stand-up? She's also a stand-up comedian. Holy moly. So yeah,
Yeah,
that is
I
yeah,
got on the biggest comedy stage in Canada. I told you I
beautiful.
went back to see my
Yeah,
mom, and it was so funny. I set the intention to try comedy last year because my husband told me regularly that I was not funny. And I would say, 50,000 people, LA Convention Center, 30,000 people, Anaheim Convention, and they're laughing. And he would say, they're just trying to make you feel better, or, they don't have a sense of humor. So the best thing about divorce is I get to own my funny. And when I do motivational speaking, I try to
right.
be entertaining and funny. And then I thought, I'm going to try to be a stand-up comic and try to motivate, because I don't know anybody that tries that, right?
No.
So I just started. I got into Yuck Yucks, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable. That's where Jim Carrey, um, Howie Mandel got their start. And when
All the
I
legendary
was,
comedians. Yeah. From
yeah, and
our era, 90s and yeah,
yeah. So
80s.
so the fact that I even got invited on that stage, and then after my set, he uh he said, anytime you're in Toronto, just let us know beforehand and you'll be on the roster. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
what's
it looks like I'm going to be there all of July. So I'm going to be on stage, and it's really interesting because I have one of my guests. You may know her, Allison Arngrim. She's Nellie from Little House on the Prairie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
They're ready
she's been
to.
on.
By the way, real quick, a little
Yeah.
tag to that. What you're saying, they're ready to reboot the show. You know, you heard? They're
What?
rebooting that show. They're gonna get. I don't know. They're gonna cast a new family and they're gonna reboot it. That's what I last heard, and that's literally as of yesterday.
Oh yeah,
That's
because she
cool.
was on 3 weeks ago to celebrate my 13th year. Because she was on my first year and then
Wow.
my 13th
Right.
year, right? And so yeah, so she didn't know that then, but she found out about my stand up and she said, "Oh, I my friend is the one that started the Laugh Factory. So whenever you want to, I'm like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
let me get it." Because the one thing, Jim, I haven't worked this out yet, and until I work it out,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get in the big stages yet,
Okay.
because motivational speaking is you are motivating people to, and then the host of the Yuck Yuck show, my last joke is about my dating and that I'm trying to avoid dating a man with a dicky do, right? Do you know what a dicky do is? It is when your tummy
Yeah.
sticks out more than your dicky do, right?
Just say it more
And
than your dick. We could say that here.
can we say we can't say that
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
show?
I like that. I could get you to say.
Yeah, I can't do it on my show, but
Yeah, exactly. You could say it here.
yeah, because
Right.
of the FCC violations.
Right.
But
You
so,
made
and
that pretty clear
obviously
to
you
me.
can do it on
And I was able to do pretty good on your show, considering that I'm pretty
considering
raw and wild.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I got invited to go on Wee Man's show.
Like
And
you.
I'm like, I can't even imagine, because, and that's also the similar struggle I'm having with doing stand up, because
Yeah.
I don't swear on my show because I get fined $20,000 if I do
That's
every
what you told me.
time. Yeah.
Tell the viewership what you told me, because this is gonna air in the next couple of days.
What?
You said I'm gonna charge you 20,000 or
Take me shopping. So Ricky owes me 3 shopping trips. So we're going to 2nd Street in Santa Monica. But anyways, so here's the deal. The host of that show had a dicky do. So he came on and said, "Let's hear it for Dr. Marissa, Asian Oprah." And the thing about, I don't know if you caught it, but she's a motivational speaker for 30 years. And she didn't really motivate me. I've got a dicky do, so it's like, oh
wow.
Maybe I need to like separate. Either I become I'm a motivational speaker that motivates, and then a stand-up that doesn't. Right? So because comics are depressed.
Yeah.
Comics are like really
it's a dark world.
and some of the I'm thinking, I think maybe that's not the angle. So I'm playing with that, right? And maybe that's my alter ego, my twin, my evil twin is the one doing stand up. Yeah. Oh, Dr. Marissa. Oh, that's my twin.
You can say I hate that bitch.
It's so the only thing I can do that doesn't like to say that what you just said, but I can say fuck, like the joke about, I just had hall sex. You know what that is? When you walk by each other in the hall and say fuck you.
Yeah.
That's hall sex. So I don't have a problem with that word, but
Right.
calling someone a
Yeah.
female dog, I'll
Yeah.
have to get used to it.
You can just get used to it. This is your alter ego. I fucking hate her ass. You know,
I
she
can't do
does
that.
this, and then you can do like she does this, and it fucking annoys me. You know what I mean? Like one of those things. You know,
I can't do that. No, there's something not. I'm my number one. I want to be classy. I always want to be classy, and I think that's why.
Yeah, it's
The random fuck is okay for
fuck.
punctuation, but
You're funny. You're funny, Marissa.
I can't do that.
It's super funny though. In saying all these things, you will realize how funny they come across. You know. Okay, so Asian Oprah. How did this all come about? Please.
2012, I won the Asian Entrepreneur of the Year award. Right. And when I came on stage, it was presented by obviously an Asian association, and they had a banner and it said, Dr. Marissa, Asian Oprah. And I looked at it and I went, whoa, way too big shoes. That's really not, I'm not. I don't think I can take that. Right. Thank you very much for the award, but I didn't run with it. I didn't, whatever. Right. So 2000, like 3 or 4 years later, my big brother is Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. He's one of the teachers from The Secret. He was
get out of here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yes, and he wrote the foreword to the book.
Yes.
And when we met, he just called me, "Hey, little sister," and that's how that happened. So I thought he called, his spiritual organization Agape. I thought everybody was a brother sister, and it turns out I wasn't. So I was very flattered and I call him my big brother because I don't have a big brother. And
I'm your big brother. I'm 6'4".
Yeah. Well, I don't have a big brother. I have a little brother, but I have a big, and big brothers are protectors. Big brothers support you, see the best in you,
right.
No matter what. Right. And he did that for me. Like when I met him, I was broken. I was going through the very expensive divorce. I had to pay child support, spousal support, settlement. Had to fight to have 50-50 custody. It was an ugly, ugly, ugly divorce. And I picked a man who didn't like to work. So I did that. It's very common for those of us, 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. We choose mates who will get you to feel the same way that your primary, the person that abused you growing up did.
That's interesting.
And so, it's very common. So what happened was, my lawyer in the courthouse after, it's close. I lost the $1.8 million house, the $1.5 million business, and close to $3 million total. And so my lawyer said to the judge, "But Your Honor, that's not fair." And the judge looked straight at me and said, "Well, you wanted equal rights." So I took one for the team, and So
but now you're advocating for the team. You're advocating for.
And but I don't regret it at all because I have 2 beautiful daughters that I couldn't have had without him, right? Yeah. And everybody does the very best that they can with the time they have and the resources they have. And he couldn't do any better than he put glue on my car. He put post signs all over Seal Beach saying Asian woman disillusioned with marriage, looking for Asian or Caucasian woman. So there was this big rumor that so anyways, but he did the best that he could. And but that's later, right? That's chapter 4 out of hatred into forgiveness.
That's horrible.
But when I was a social drinker, became an everyday drinker, and then I was asked to find a God of my understanding, and so I went church shopping, and so I went to Agape. And that's when I met Michael. And he said to me, actually he said to somebody else, and I overheard it. I took a class called Universal Principles of Spirituality, and he asked, the woman said to him in the class, not me, but my ears perked up because she said,
Right.
I can forgive my ex-husband, but I cannot forgive my mother. And I went, because my mom called me fat, ugly, and clumsy. And so I picked a man who told people that I was obese and I was this size. So I did that. And so I listened very carefully. And he said, this is why he's my big brother. He said, because I was so miserable, right? I came in broken. I was, numbing. I was so like mad and sad. I was just like bad. And he said, and this is really powerful. So I'm hoping that someone's listening who is in this spot, because if this can switch in you like it switched in me, your life will never be the same, because you are one of a kind, wonderful. But if you don't believe that, because you're still blaming and shaming and feeling bad about what happened to you, here's the turnaround. He said, not saying what your mother did was right or wrong or okay or not okay. Not saying what he did to you was okay, right, or wrong. However, let's just say they did what they did. Was anything developed in you as a direct result of what they did that you like about yourself? And I went,
Deep.
I'd never looked at what happened to me that way. I'd always looked at it as I'm not good enough.
Right.
I am as bad as they told me I was.
It was a watershed moment
all
for you.
these things.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was like,
Wow.
Saul and the things that came out of his eyes on the road to Damascus. It was just like the burning bush. It was so transformational, because I said, and he wasn't even looking at me. I said, I like my strength, my power, my resilience, my compassion. And I kept going, and he laughed because he heard me, and he said, and maybe one day you can even thank them for helping. I'm like, nah, let's not get too carried away here. But it really did shift my entire life. And he asked to look into me, and there's this gorgeous picture. I don't even know who took it. And he just held my face and closed his eyes, and he said, I see a planet with a chunk missing, and what's coming is way bigger than what's missing. And that was the prediction of what would happen with my show, with the book, with the with all of that, because that wasn't. And then getting to the answer finally of your question, he is a very good friend of Oprah's. And so Oprah has him on her listening devices, and he was on Super Soul Sunday. So she came to visit, and I was, in the audience, and I don't know if we have time for the longer version, but let's just cut to the chase, and if we have time, I'll come back to it. But
yeah, it's fine. We could always.
How much time do we have?
We could do another 8 minutes. Another 8 minutes.
Another 8 minutes.
It's all good. Take it away. This is your show.
Okay. So because I've never told this part in any.
Yeah, I want you to tell the story.
So this is a new thing that I don't share. So only here on Almost Famous.
Radio.
Yes. Podcast. So here's the interesting thing.
What a treat.
So she is in the audience.
Okay.
Michael's from stage, and we have here Oprah, and explosion, everybody, right? Yeah. So everybody runs with their phone and trying to get close to her, and and then her bodyguards come in, Agape bodyguards come in.
It's pandemonium.
It is crazy. Yeah. So I try to get in there, and my Agape bodyguards know me, but her bodyguards know me, so I was blocked there. Then she went to the side. This is when we were in Culver City. She went to the side door, and I got blocked there. And I stopped, and I said, okay, God. And I call my God my UPS man, universal power source, who delivers every time I meditate in the morning. So I said, okay, God, I know that if I don't get to meet her this time, I'll get to meet her, another time. However, if I'm supposed to meet her today, tell me what to do. And the voice said, left. So I turned left. Now they're out on the right at the door, but I'm following the voice. This is the same voice that told me to write. And then I get a best-selling book without a literary agent. This is the same voice that told me radio, and I have an award-winning radio show. So same voice. So left. So I walk left, and then it said right. So then I went right through the door, and then left. Now, I am out in Timbuktu, away from all the people surrounding my big brother, surrounding Oprah. They're together, arm in arm, and I'm way, quarter mile away.
Like in left field somewhere.
Literally in left field. And I'm saying, are you sure? Are you sure this is where I should be? And all of a sudden, like the Red Sea, that group of people that are way over there, it opens up and they are walking up to me, like literally. And I'm like, maybe that, because I'm by the sign, not realizing I was by the sign and they were going to get a picture there. So I'm there, just, frozen. And then he walks up with her and puts his hand out to me and says, this is the Asian Oprah. To Oprah.
What the hell?
I know, because if you think about it, Jim, if I had been able to get through her security to meet her at the front, what was I going to say?
Yeah.
I'm the Asian Oprah? Hell no. No.
I said, arrest this lady.
Hell no. So this was the best possible way to meet her, was to have my big brother, who is a friend of hers, say, this is the one they call the Asian Oprah, or this, I don't even remember. And she looked at me, looked down, looked back up and said, nice pants. It took everything not to say, do you want them?
Yeah.
Because that's a huge compliment. And then I didn't remember what I had on underneath. So I, wasn't going to offer. But is that crazy, Jim?
Yeah,
this was the best possible way with which I could meet Oprah. And it was because I listened to the voice that is accessible for all. So who's this voice? This is the voice that is responsible for creating our beautiful bodies, that processes food without our being in control of the enzymes. The same energy that creates every single drop of water in the ocean, different snowflakes, leaves, blades of grass, sand, and all 8 billion of us on the planet. We are all unique, one of a kind, wonderful, loving, lovable, loved individuals who have the purpose in life of being happy 88% of the time. Why not 100%? Because if you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people walking or talking. I want 88. 8's a lucky number in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. And that's why I get to do what I do. I'm on a happy 88 mission, like 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. I just found out my impression number on YouTube channel is 3,880,000 impressions. I was shocked.
What a trajectory.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because I hate people who ask what my numbers are. And I hate when people judge you by your numbers, because everybody I know buys numbers. I refuse to buy numbers. However, I do like that number because it shows that my mission is being accomplished. That's
why.
That's it right there. And I know we have so little time because it's been quite a treat just to hear you listen, and it's almost like this barrage of. I had a bunch of questions lined up. I'll have to reserve those for next time in person, but that's okay because you demystified and
this is the intro.
This is just the intro. Holy shit! It is just the intro, and we've covered a little ground. But I'm all about it because to have you here on here it was a teachable moment for me, and it taught me a lot. And it's just beautiful to see you come alive in such a very trying moment right now. Nevertheless, regardless of.
Yeah, I know. Juan said, "Do you want me to reschedule the interview?" And I'm like, "No, because this is
the
who
show
I
must
am."
Go on, right? That's what we say.
Well, show must go on, but this is life, folks. Whoever's told you that bad things only happen to bad people or bad things happen to good people, that whole line of BS makes people think that if bad things happened, like your mother dying or like tragedy or whatever it is, that there's something wrong, you're being punished. Bullshit talkie. I can actually say bullshit here. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not because you're being punished. It's because this is life. Life is about growing and expanding through pain.
Say fuck. Bullshit. You're gonna go back to your show and not be able to say it.
And then you'd owe me shopping because it'd be your fault. But all pain in life is chiseling us to be the most beautiful sculptures in this thing called life.
Mother of God. I don't know how else to close it. You close it in such a majestic fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Marissa, the Asian Oprah. She's fabulous. Go find her. Go look for her. Watch her shows that are phenomenal.
Go free subscribe on my YouTube TV channel. Give me the finger. Not that one, but this one. And if you just use my assistant Google and put in Asian Oprah Instagram, it'll come up. Doc Balance, Asian Oprah, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Show Central, though, is definitely
everywhere.
YouTube.
You've left a beautiful indentation on the face of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you so much once again. I'm just truly honored and privileged to have you on. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Of course.
Thank you so much. We'll have you on.
Remember this?
Yeah.
It's all about balance. Wait, I'm going to take this because this is what I use for the promo. Because it's all about balance. Here we go.
There you go.
Ready? Dr. Marissa reporting live in Hollywood. Not just kidding. I'm on Almost Famous Radio podcast with my past guest, Jim, and he's cousin to Ricky Rebel. And we're going to make him do this. We just, I talked for a change. I was on the hot seat. Ready? It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you. Thanks again, Dr. Marissa, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Are you